The OTP update is going to be fairly security-focused, as is the world around us. But I will cover a few other topics too. So let's get started. And we'll start with OTP 28.1. That is our latest release. And in that release, our SSL application, or our TLS protocol implementation, I should say, provided by our SSL application, public key application, and crypto applications, will now support post-quantum algorithms, MLDSA, for signing, and MLChem for key exchange. And actually, I have already merged more configurable MLChem solution and MLChem hybrid algorithms for upcoming 28.2. And hopefully, we will also manage to finish SLH DSA for that release, because quantum computers might just be around the corner, and we want to be prepared. But on a completely different topic, regular expressions. As you might know, when you are executing regular expressions in Erlang, they will be executed by a third-party library called PCRE. And actually, in OTP 28, we upgraded to PCRE 2. And if you use your regular expressions a lot, you might want to use the feature of pre-compiling your regular expression to gain some performance. However, it was never meant that you should be able to take these pre-compiled regular expressions and send them to another Erlang node and execute them there, because they are not independent of what software and hardware you are running. But in OTP 27 and earlier, this just happened to work if you had similar enough software and hardware, even though in most cases it would probably crash the emulator. It was quite surprisingly many projects that were unhappy when this stopped working altogether when we did the update of the PCRE version. And especially Elixir was not happy about this. So actually, in OTP 28.1, we now have a way to export these compiled regular expressions and then send them to another Erlang node where you can import them and execute them in a safe way that will not crash your emulator. Tracing has always been one of the strengths of Erlang, so that you can find out what your Erlang processes are doing without cluttering your code with a lot of IO formats or debug macros. Although this might not have been so approachable for newcomers. So now we actually have written a tracing guide, so please have a look and feedback us on that. And now we're going to have some more security focus. So when we're talking about security, we often talk about CVEs. So a CVE is a common vulnerability and exposure, and it's actually just a bug. But it's not any bug. It's a bug that you can use to exploit, or that is exploitable in a way so that you can harm the system. And for instance, you can use it to do a denial of service attack to make your system become unavailable. Or in worst case, you can access data of the system or manipulate data of the system so that you can harm the system and its users. And when we find such a bug and fix it, we will have a CV report on this bug. And also, to have such a report, you need to require an identity for it. And then you need to ask your CNA for that. So a CNA is a CV numbering authority. And actually now, the Erlang Ecosystem Foundation has become the CNA of not only Erlang OTP, but most Beam languages and many Beam-related projects. And if you think that you have found the vulnerability bug in our code base, we want you to report it to us without telling the rest of the world. So then you go to our GitHub repository and you find the security tab, and then you will get this green button here saying that you can report a vulnerability, and it will create a GitHub issue for you that only you and the OTP team can read. And if we agree that your report is a vulnerability, we can cooperate with you on a private repository, and you can help us to try out our patches. And once we are ready to release the patches, we will talk to our CNA and get the CVE number and get everything done by the book. And once we publish the patches, we will also publish this report so that it becomes public, and you can find information related to the CVE also in the published advisory. In our OTP version 3, we are going to have a little yellow triangle beside the version numbers that are affected by one or more CVEs. And you can hover them, and you will get a list of the CVEs. And they are linked, so you can click them. And then you will get to the published advisory. And this is one of the latest published advisories. And as you can see, it has a severity score of moderate, and the number 6.1 out of 10. And there's a lot of predefined things that you need to evaluate to come up with this number. But even if we do it according to all the rules and in consideration with our CNA, it's very hard to think of all the aspects that might affect you or not. Like, say, for instance, that you have a critical CVE against the TLS protocol that says that client certification is broken. Okay, this is very critical if you use client certification. But like most websites don't use this, so this is a non-issue for them. So you need to not only stare at the number, you need to consider under what circumstances is this happening, and how does that affect my system. We also have something called an SBOM. So this is kind of an inventory of a software package. And it's a lot of JSON terms. And it will have things as unique identifiers, copyrights, vendored packages. And even though it's quite humanly readable, you probably will not be happy by reading this file yourself. You probably want to make some tool or use an existing one to analyze this information. But an important thing to remember is the difference between a vendor dependency and a linked dependency. So a vendor dependency happens when you take piece of software from a third party, and you copy it, and you put it into your own product. Okay? So the Erlang virtual machine has taken the MDFM algorithm from OpenSSL library and copied it in to the Beam. So if there's a CVE against the OpenSSL cryptolib that actually affects the MDFM algorithm, and it's on the version that we copied, then it could affect our vendor dependency. But we will still say that we have a vendor dependency to the entire OpenSSL. And of course, Erlang OTP provides other security features, such as, or security features. MDFM is not used for security features. The TLS protocol, the SSH protocol, public key, and crypto. And they all rely on OpenSSL's cryptolib. So if there's a CVE on some part of OpenSSL cryptolib that is used by those applications, you might be vulnerable, but that depends on how you have built your system. And we don't know that. So that is information does not go to our SBOM, it goes to your SBOM. And of course, if there's a CVE on the light blue part, that is the TLS protocol application in OpenSSL, that is never going to affect us because our protocol implementation is in Erlang. And in our version 3, we will also have a link on the save icon where you can hover, and you will get all the built artifacts for that release, such as the SBOM. And now we'll have a sneak peek at OTP 29. So this is what we're planning to do. And we're planning to have something called VEX statements. And this is also JSON terms, and this is for automation of CVE checking. So there will be information as when did this vulnerability occur, and when was it fixed. And this is sort of the same information that you would get from looking at the advisories. But this is for machines, and the advisories, they are for people. And we will also have VEX statements to help you eliminate false positives, as when we have a vendor dependency for the MD5. And I guess most of you didn't attend the codebeam conference in Stockholm. And actually, last year, I talked about some of the features from that release, like nominal types and zip comprehensions. But we actually do not have time for this, so I recommend that you watch the excellent talk from my coworker Rickard that held the OTP 28 update in Stockholm. And you have the link here, or maybe even easier, just Google it and you'll find it. And I believe that my time is up.